Good afternoon all. Welcome back to NRL Fantasy Analysis. We're going to be going through the last two games of the round and then going to finish off the video with some looks at the rankings, the top guys there, and also team value. So we've got a lot of guys that have been, cash cows making us plenty of cash. We've got some mid-rangers doing really well also. And let's have a little bit of a talk around them at the end of this video. So let's get through these two first and hang around to the end and you get a lot of value when we finish off here. So Sharks beating the Tigers 30-4. Jesse Ramian dominating again. So, we spoke about him as just being a keeper for the year, averaging 49. So he's been great, doing more than just the tackle breaks this year, which is great. So the two try assists and the try was awesome there. A really good combination with Sione Katoa in the on the right edge there. So Sione with 63 as well was great. So Nico Hines, 67 for him. So back to his best, 3 offloads, 3 tackle breaks, doing a bit of everything with the 145 run meters, the kicks. I didn't know real attacking stats there, but really good everywhere else, which was good. So if you captained him, got a very similar score to Payne Haas. If you captain Cleary, obviously a little bit less, but yeah, really good game for him. Majority of people own him, so it's not a big issue. All right, Ronaldo. I think he's getting better and better as a player. Hey, he's been really special. Started about the 460k mark, so just a bit of an awkward price for him, but he's done really well. 3 line breaks, a try. Just footwork and speed's been, I feel like, has really increased. So it's great to see him not injured and playing really well. Obviously, that dual position for the few people that picked him up, you've done really well there, 3.2%. So good stuff. Lucy Leilua, another 50 odd. So being very consistent since round 1. He's done really well since. So 47 average is okay. Made a little bit of cash this week, and he's only down 8k there. So if you started with him, just keep holding. He's doing a job for you without being too spectacular. I think Galway's been the interesting one. Really big minutes for the Tigers in that 13 role. So another 50 for him in 63 minutes was decent. Britton Nakora with 47 and a try, so finally got one of them, but just the base stats were down a bit with, the tackles being down a little bit lower with them having the ball so much, which makes sense. Cam McInnes played a little bit of edge this week. Still lost 30k, 46 in his 57 minutes. So, creeping closer to bigger minutes and, had the line break and try. This was really nice for him. So good to see him get back into the swing of things and got one offload as well. So Cam was good. Keep him on the radar. If he gets somewhere in the 500s, I think he's going to be a really good pickup in the next few weeks. Some people might even look to pick him up this week. Depends where he gets named, obviously. But, at 6.15 now, he's getting closer to being priced in the sort of mid to high 40s. So he's someone that definitely can average 50 plus, very, very comfortably. Talakai was 45 in this game. So kind of did what you'd hope, up against a pretty lackluster Tigers side, let's be honest. But 5 tackle breaks for him. Had the try assist and a couple of line break assists, 167 meters, did his job. So 45, you take that, 61k in price rises. So well done to anyone who picked him up. There is a decent percentage of 10% now. And we'll see what happens over the next few weeks when Connor Tracy comes back and that kind of stuff. So Tuolangi, 44 for him. So had a couple of turnover tackles, really defended well. I was happy with him, 31 tackles for 1 miss. Obviously, less running for any of the Tigers guys, really, like Alex 12, 47 minutes for 72 meters. Tuolangi as well, 51 meters, and he's a very damaging ball runner, so they need to get him the ball more. Who knows what's happening with the Tigers, though? That's the big worry with Tui. But 25k in rises. He's gained 53 now, so if you've held this long, he's slowly going to start making money now at an average of over 31. If he continues, getting bigger minutes, then we should see anywhere between 35 and 45 on a regular basis if he can get some running meters up and a few tackle breaks and offloads or the odd try or something like that. And I think he could probably make him another 100k. So I think Tui's a hold for sure. Wilton unfortunately got the head knock and had to go off early. So the 37 points for him was solid. Didn't have to run the ball as much. So just not one of those games for him. Finucane's starting to go down in terms of his minutes as well. Like he's been consistent the last few weeks, down a little bit from the start. And, the points are starting to dry up as well. So he becomes closer to a sell over the next bunch of weeks. But just be aware that we have Payne Haas being out, that any mid at the moment is pretty good to have. So pretty, important is the word I was looking for. So that's that. With him, Peachy's been average. I wouldn't be having him. Staffatoa with 2 try savers. He's, doing what he can in a pretty tough Tigers side. Well done to anyone who started with Madden. You've made 140k, and it looks like he should be moving on for Jackson Hastings next week. So just be aware of that. You don't have to get rid of him straight away. You could use him as a red dot if you would like. Maybe try and do a double loop or something, which we'll talk about if it comes up. But yeah, that's it with Madden. Very interesting there. And yeah, well done to anyone who picked him up. Moylan with 21. Gildart with a lower score as well. So that's that game there. Let me know how you went in that game. Obviously, most people had a lot of players in this second one here with the Dogs and the Panthers, which will load in a second. So with that one there, we had Cleary there with 58. So you've lost 62k if you picked him up in the last 2 weeks, just 38 if you picked him up this week. Obviously, it's a decent score without being spectacular. The missed tackles was down to 3 this week, which was good. 538 kick meters, had the forced dropouts, the odd turnover tackle, 6 goals, no attacking stats yet, and still getting 58. So once they start coming in, his meters gained, get over 1,000. You know, he took on the line a few more times this game, which was good to see. And it really doesn't matter too much for Cleary as to who he comes up against. Obviously played the Dogs this round. You would have hoped for a little bit more, but again, it's one of those games where they can send it left and right, and let the other guys do a little bit. Let Luai do a little bit on the left with the guns on that left side is incredible. There's a few things that he can do, and I think he's someone that almost plays better against the better sides, and you can get 90 and 100 against them. So he's still a good pickup, but you can get him under $1 million now, which is really cool. I'd still be captaining him every week from here on in. He just looks much more like himself. He got the 6 goals this week, so he's much better in that sense there. Joshy Jackson went back to big tackles there. 49 meters run, only 56 tackles, so 53 points for him. He's very much an interesting option come the middle of the year with his mid-edge duel. But I wouldn't be looking at him yet. Just kind of keep an eye on him over the next few weeks. Edwards, another good game with the try, 6 tackle breaks was good. Pangai Jr. was 51, so got a sneaky try. A little bit annoying that he got that. Only the 3 offloads this week, so it made sense that he was contained a little bit. He would have had the 43 in the 80 minutes without that. It's just stuff up of a try that happened for him. So if you picked him up, you got the 17k in price rises and a decent score at that price point. So yeah, is what it is. Taylor May, I hope that majority of people got on him. He's still owned by 18%, so 70k in price rises, 51 points there, 7 tackle breaks, couple offloads, 118 meters, and a try this week. He's special, hey? He's very much a talent, and it'll be interesting to see, what happens, how many games he's got left, whether he takes Staines' spot when To'o comes back, whether they, make sure To'o gets an extra week or two because they don't need to rush him back. That's really an interesting one with To'o. With him potentially coming back in the next, say, 2 to 3 weeks, that's still enough time for him to get picked for Origin. So I don't feel like if it was probably round 11 he was meant to come back, for example, they'd really make sure he was back for that, or round 10. Just, for his sake, he'd want to make sure he gets a couple of games in before he goes to Origin. But I think if he comes back in around 9 or 10, takes an extra couple of weeks, he'd be fine. But it's all speculation at this point as to, what's going to happen. Isaiah Yeo with 47, so 57 minutes for him. It was always inevitable that him and Murray were going to drop in minutes. You just see over the years that there's no point them playing 80 every game. Their teams are good. They don't need them to play that crazy amount of minutes every week. So Yeo 47 for him, decent score with a nice try assist in there. Martin with 47 for those, the 4% that have him. So solid. Welcome back into the positives for him. Matty Burton has still gained 18k, even though he's averaging, 45 there. Just a bit of a nothing game for him and still picked up 45. So you'll take that. The games start to get easier. He's got one more tough one, and then most people will be looking to pick him up in sort of round 7 or 8. So just be aware of that. If you own Burton, I'd be holding steady because the scores aren't that bad, really, to be honest. We got Maxi King. How good is he? Another 39k in rise. He's up 246 now in total, so he's been really, really good. 43 in 34 minutes, a couple offloads, 30 tackles in 34 minutes is crazy, and 92 meters. So well done to Maxi. Keep doing it for us. Keep playing him in your teams. He's getting the job done for sure. What about Joey Simpson? He looks huge these days. I reckon, even that photo doesn't do him justice for what he looks like now. I reckon he was much more of a rangy back rower before, and now he looks like a big boy prop. I don't know if anyone else saw that. I didn't really notice. So he went through and scored that try, and they said it was Joe Stimson. I was like, what? I've hardly seen him play in the last, year and a bit, hey? And he's just gotten a lot bigger. So, yeah, that was interesting. Coruscant, those are the people who are talking about him at the start of the season. 35. He's got these games in him. He's averaging 44. So, just not a keeper, unfortunately. Just that step below. But he's averaging more than Reed Marnie. So, that's that one there. Tungo with 31 there. So he had the really nice line break and try assist there. He had 3 errors and 3 penalties with 1 missed tackle. So just not his game in terms of negatives. Negative 14 there. He'll be fine. He's still averaging 50, making plenty of cash. So keep playing him. He'll be sweet. Crichton this week, so 17. Just be aware, guys. Averaging 43 for the year. Still made 6k. Yes, he's probably getting close to peaked in terms of his cash generation. Definitely. understandable. He won't be, scoring 50 every week for sure, playing in the centers here. But what we got to, be clear on is, Pav got 19 this week. Teddy got 23. Ponga's not scoring well. Who are you going to play in the wing fullbacks if you trade him out? Like, who are you going to trade him out for? There's no cheapie coming through unless, Gula comes in and plays. But Crichton's is just a hold, like, at least for the next few weeks, unless someone comes up that's a cheapie that you can downgrade him to. I just don't see any upgrade options. You got Hines, you got Pap, you got Teddy, the only ones you kind of play down there. And the rest of the mid-range and cheapies are just nowhere near as good as what he can produce. So I think it's silly to think about trading him out at this point. Poor Dufty got a 0 in 80 minutes. He wasn't very good. 46 metres, 4 errors. Yeah, tough one for him. And then Naden with a -1. Anyone who was interested in him at the start of the season? Oh my God, averaging 12. So that's that there, the 2 games. We'll move on to some of the rankings here. So my head-to-head team is 310th. So 168 points behind all-out NRL Fantasy. They're still in the top spot, doing really well. But I just want to look at squad value. So my team there is 11.774. Obviously missed out on Joshy King. Didn't end up picking up Jeremiah Nanai as well. So that's that. But we got a team here, Renegade Deep Heat for Joseph. His team is 12.099. So almost 12.1 million bucks. Let's have a look at his team there. And just talk about some of the guys that, have made some cash for him. Obviously, Aiken's made about 100k now, which is good. Nanai in there, King, Arrow's made a little bit. Sort of everyone that is brought into the side. Cookie, Moses started to make some cash as well. Kurt Mann, you got May, you got Tungo, Crichton, Hines, Paps made a little bit as well. On the bench, literally all these guys have made money, right? So that's all it is. You just need no red dots. You need guys that are, if you're not sure on them, hold them for a little bit. They've started to come good. Ilias is starting to come good. Tuolangi as well. Jones, you brought him in. He started, scoring a lot better. Schneider's killing it. So everyone here's making money. And obviously that's why they're ranked overall in number 6. They've scored really well each and every week and made the right picks. But it shows that you can get to that team valued as well. It's just making sure that your trades right now are reflecting someone who's going to come in and make good money. Whether Taylor May was a fairly obvious one this week, especially last week, we weren't exactly sure, but this week it was clear. He's very talented. He's a great option to pop in your side. So that's one team to look at. Team's looking really good. It really just depends on how many trades have been used, I suppose, as to how we can work out how to try and beat these guys. That's the real thing. So we'll look at the all-out NRL Fantasy team again. Well done to you guys as well for being first overall after 5 rounds. So, Cam Murray in here has just been electric. We've got Fermor with the lower game. So Moses has been great. So anyone who owns Moses the last few weeks has done really well on the bench there. Yeah, a little bit different. Obviously, Vialea hasn't done as well. This is why this team's down about 120k. So, the other one had that one extra cash cow that's done well. If we're looking at the rest of the squads, everyone's teams are very similar at this point, with the odd sort of 4 to 5 guys that are different, and that's really all it takes, right, to be really good in this league. DCE, having him from the start would have been a great choice for most. You got Harry Grant there on the bench, so yeah, same thing. Vialea, that's why the only real difference there, and Penasini hasn't made too much cash as to why this team has 11.88 million. So let me know where you're at the moment in terms of your team value. We'll just have shout out to Saf, who's in the Discord group. I think he said he gained 40 rankings. I think he went from 43 to number 3 this week with a 910. So let's have a look. Let's admire this beautiful score. Still had the 19 and the 17 from Crichton and Pap. Some nice scorers on the bench. Obviously having Grant was nice. Papali'i, Hass's captain, Aiken, and Moses there. So just no real low scores from any other random guys. So yeah, doing well. Making some cash on the bench too with Walters and stuff. So well done to Saf. In number 3, again, not too many changes. It's very interesting that none of these teams have Cleary yet. So, if Cleary happens to bust out an 80 or 90, then as captain, then I think that's really going to help you out. And that's what happened in our people squad. We, brought in Cleary this week, had him as captain. He did well without going spectacularly, and we made a few ranks. But if he got 75, 80, we would have been in the top 100, I'd say, or close to it. So, is what it is with that one. But yeah, this team's slightly different. Has Jackie Bird. It'll be interesting to see what teams do with Arrow this week if they've got cover on the mids. A lot of teams still have Joshy King. Do you start to move him on? He's someone who's made a fair bit of cash as well, which is very, very cool. But that's out there. So yeah, let's jump in and have a look. So that's the top 4. One more. Go top 5. what do we got here? So very, very similar as well. Sitting there with Burton, which is interesting. Billy Smith, so use them as a loop. Yeah, cool. So let's just jump into just the team now and just have a look at some of the price rises, which has been really cool. Like you look at Randall, averaging just under 50 now, and has gone up, you know, a large amount there. If we started him at early 300s and he's made 250k. You look at, we spoke about Tungo, has made, you know, that much as well. Taylor May went up 70k this week, so if you don't own him, it's getting very tough to pick him up. If he keeps hitting 50s, he's still got a fair bit to make, but if he goes to a 30 or 35, then he'll start to slow down for sure. Like Tungo, we got really, really low at the 334, is that he was? For example. Yeah, even Pap's gone up a little bit. Crichton's gone up plenty. Burton's up a tad. Aiken's, you know, near 100k now. Hetherington's staying steady. Obviously, we need some improvement from him. Even Starling's gone up about 100k. Cook's gone up the same. So, you know, plenty of guys going up in value, and it's really, you know, different this year. If you're scoring well around that 50 to 60, it makes it really, really tough. It makes it really, really easy to make some cash this year with the way that pricing's done at 14,000 per point. Very easy to gain price this year, but if you start really slow, it just really hurts. You know, when other players are gaining 100k, 150k really fast, and you're either holding steady or dropping down, it makes it really tough. So those that owned Reed, Mane, like myself, it's been really hard to do really well in this league at this point. When one guy, you know, if you're comparing Cook to Reed at the moment, the average difference is like 30, right? So he's averaging 63.6. Reed's, you know, in the mid 30s, which is you know, or high 30s, I should say. He's down there somewhere. What's he priced at now already? 60, averaging 41. So yeah, you get a 22-point difference for him, and yeah, a big drop in cash over the last bunch of weeks. So yeah, it's all it takes really. It's just one or two guys to stuff around the start of your season, but you can improve it. You know, I traded him last week. I think Kobe's going to do well. Like he should do even better with Haas, but you know, the minutes should hopefully increase, and you know, more tackles, more runs, and he'll be fine, for example. But you know, yeah, just very, very interesting the start of the season. It's only 5 rounds in, and I'm going to start talking a little bit about Origin as well this week, and how you prepare for that. And that should, you know, put you in good stead to do really well. A lot of teams have set themselves up for a great really start to the year, and then, you know, it's very easy for them to drop off over Origin if they've used a lot of trades, or if they're not preparing well enough for that. So if you listen to my channel, you'll have, you know, great preparation heading into the buys, into those Origin rounds. And if you have any further questions on that, I will explain it in another video coming up this week. But I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and got a lot out of it. We'll catch you in the next one, guys. Subscribe and like, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.